Good morning, my loves, and welcome to Elisa Maria Design. I am Elisa Maria, and I'm smiling because it's my favorite day. It is Self-Care Sunday. Well, it's actually Saturday, but I'm getting ready for it today. And if you are following along with the book, um, I'm going to read Sunday's reading, which is April the... Did I read the wrong day? I could have. If you know, you know, you know me. April 21st. We're going to read Sunday, April 21st. Reading. I'm here with Foofy, who has a meanie face on, so maybe some of this magic will... He's so mad. He's so mad. The relaxed moment is on. The relaxed movement. I like moment better. I don't like relaxed movement. But he's mad because I gave him treats. If you were here for the kiss yesterday, I gave him treats on my desk. And now he thinks that he's going to find them here all the time. I don't get it with this cat. I've been trying to get him to ring a bell for 2 weeks. He won't ring it. But give him a treat on the desk, he gets on the desk. Anyway, let's get started. What I'm going to do, you guys kind of know my process here. I've been reading and writing and, but what I'm going to do while I read this to you in a voiceover and give you my notes, I am going to kit up the kiss, because if you were here for, oh no, that didn't drop yet. That's dropping on Monday. Okay, so Monday you're going to see my work on the kiss, and I was just going nutso. So I am going to kit that up. The baggies just are not working for me. So I'm going to do that while I talk to you guys about the gift of surprise. So here we are, guys. Another week has gone by. I can't believe it's Sunday again, but this is my favorite week, my favorite day of the week. I love Self-Care Sunday, and I love all of you that show up for it because you love it as much as I do. How does it fit in with diamond painting? Well, I see diamond painting as a form of self-care. It's helped me so much in my life. During a time that I was going through grief, I had lost my companion, my pet, my little baby, Honor, Mr. Honor. For those of you that knew him personally, it was Mr. Honor. And he was almost 19 years old. And even though I gave him a great life and I took him everywhere with me and everyone knew him, he had his own Facebook page. And I thought, I know it's going to happen, and I know he's slowing up, and I know it's getting worse. And I just continued to carry him on my hip like a baby. And I talked to him every day, and I told him stories of our life together and adventures that we went on together. And it was, nothing for me. He was like another arm or a leg, and I don't think anyone prepares you for when they're not there. Even though you feel really good about the care that you gave this little fur baby, I was so surprised, I guess would be the word, that there was just this huge hole in my heart. And John had wanted me to speak to someone and get some, coping skills. And even the vet that came to our home was, oh my gosh, he was so kind and compassionate and gentle with Honor. It literally was like he was just napping. But anyway, so that's how diamond painting helped me. I began to diamond paint, and I broke through a lot of blocks that I was having, and that's why I include it. I include Self-Care Sunday in my diamond painting. And on this day, April the 21st, I do read a lot from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. And so many of you loved the readings that I do. And you've gone out and bought the book. And I hope you show up here. And I hope that you do, maybe read along, or, maybe there's food for thought for you that you'd like to discuss on the page. or privately. You can always reach me at my Gmail, 8 AlisaMaria8 @gmail.com. Or you can go to my Facebook page, Elisa Maria Designs, and you can contact me there. Anyway, so I love that Mark Nepo places a quote at the end of each title. And he titled this The Gift of Surprise. And there's a quote by Brother David Stendel Rast. Another game for God is surprise. While rushing to complete your dearest plans that you tell no one, you can bump into another and groceries will fly. And while picking up the ketchup, you might fall in love. Or in your second year of college, while studying what mommy and daddy want you to be, you can accidentally open a book on Albert Schweitzer and discover that you feel compelled to go to Africa. Or, understanding geometry, you might decide to become a gardener, finding all the endless joy in creating landscapes. Or, the death of your grandmother might open a side of you that is starving for history. Mark writes, in his case, losing a rib to cancer made him discover the atom within himself. It seems that any moment of interest or pain or adversity can surprise us into the larger totality of life, breaking our current limits and allowing us the chance to redefine ourselves in regard to the larger sense that is upon us. That we are opened so suddenly, so often, is the way the soul unfolds on earth. We can never be prepared for everything. No person can anticipate all of life. In fact, over-preparation is yet another way to wall ourselves in from life. Rather, we can only prepare for how we might respond to the gift of surprise that often moves in on us faster than our reflex to resist. Life is surprising. Thank God, and God, the chance to know oneness lives in surprise. For God is seldom in our plans, but always in the unexpected. Excuse me for stumbling over a few of those sentences, but as I was reading the words again, I've read them a few times this morning, and I did journal about it. Other thoughts were rushing to the surface. Let me see if I can pick out where I stumbled at here. Well, let me start with the last one. The reflex to resist. Isn't that often our reflex to everything that kind of takes us out of our comfort zone? And then we have something happened and, you just can't resist. You can't, I mean, I'm going through it. I'm looking at myself actually kitting up this kit, and I am on the struggle bus, let me tell you. I thought once I got rid of the baggies that, I was going to be able to kit this up and it would be so easy, but they were just fighting me back. I mean, I think I have to get up to like maybe the storage container, maybe by the 12th or the 13th, I'm starting to get a hang and I'm starting to get some rhythm. And, I found this little tip along the way where you guys know that I use my Glass Plus, those little rags. You'll see it come up in the video if it hasn't already. I don't think it has because I'm still struggling, but my fingertips were wet. And if I just kind of dabbed my hands on that rag, it made it so much easier to open up those little baggies with like a little twist. So, I mean, there's something, I guess, to find out along the way when you stop resisting. But there are times when you just can't, I am, going through it. There's the Glass Plus. I'm going through it, I started this new year with COVID. And I thought, well, my friends have all described it as like, yeah, it's just like a cold, you'll be okay. But I wasn't okay. I think I got the second round. It took like 4 years to catch up to me. So it kind of gained in strength. And so I went through all that. And then like when I finally got my taste back, surprise, my tooth literally breaks off the first time that I'm able to taste something. And, it's like your mind does go to that area of resisting where you're just like, no, this isn't really happening. I'm not doing this right now. I don't have time to go to the dentist. I'm just starting to feel like myself again and be able to get back to the plans that I made for 2024 for my channel. And what did Mark say here? For God is seldom in our plans, but always in the unexpected. And this whole process was unexpected. I knew that my current dentist couldn't handle this. And my girlfriend started a new job at a great place. She's a dental assistant, and she brought me in, and everyone has been wonderful and compassionate. And, a broken tooth is one thing, a tooth that just breaks out of your mouth. But the other thing was, this was a trauma accident. And the dentist looked at my mouth and said, who did this? Who did this work? Because it's kind of shoddy. And I never felt that way. But, he knew what he was talking about. And I got to tell you, I only have, part of this completed. And I already, surprise again, feel the difference in what is going on there. And then, trying to deal with my trauma and get in touch with my inner child, I decided to get on a swing that I haven't been on since like Camp YMCA. And, there's not dirt anymore when you go to try and stop a swing that, you kind of drag your feet on the ground of the playground and like the dirt moves along with you, the sand or whatever. Now it's just a rubber mat. And so I found out the hard way that you can't do that. And, I broke my ankle. And I'm still waiting for the element to show up there of what it is about breaking this ankle. Like, when I think of anytime someone is injured or a break happens, it seems to me that everything that we're holding on to floods to the surface, right? So I have this break, and it's like, if you believe like I do, and this comes from my yoga training, that we hold on to emotions, and if we don't process them, they kind of hide in the nooks and crannies of our bodies, of our joints. And it's like you have this break, and everything just floods to that surface and comes to the surface. And, your pain is not that bad. Like John said to me, he's been a wreck with me not being able to use crutches. I almost fell twice, and I'm crying and I'm upset, and he's just a wreck looking at me. And it's not so much the ankle. It's all the disappointment in the plans, in the expectations of what I had planned for my life. Kind of like the first paragraph. You expect to go to the groceries. You don't expect to bump into somebody and fall in love, right? You expect to go to school and become what it is that your parents planned for you, but you don't expect to pick up a book and feel that it's going to change your life. You feel a pull. And, there were that one paragraph, reading that paragraph about doing one thing and coming out the other end of what you're doing with a totally different result, just brought me back to my time in New York City. And I guess, for me, this reading was about entering your day without expectations. And I think, my one girlfriend, she was going through a lot of changes. And, it just seemed to be like me right now. I keep saying I'm in a season right now where when I think I'm going to get back on track with what my plans were for 2024, something else happens. And that was kind of happening to her. And she said, Lisa, I was speaking to my therapist, and I'm not having expectations anymore. And there was something about that I did agree with, and there was something about it that I didn't agree with. Like, I think expectations is a very tricky word. There are times that you should expect a certain outcome. And then I think that there are times that you just have to let go and let God. We say that a lot. I know I do. I just am like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about this. I'm just going to let go, and I'm going to let God. Take the wheel, Jesus. I'm going to decorate my art room with steering wheels for all the times that Jesus has stepped into my life. Maybe I'll craft a little story about each steering wheel that I hang on the wall. But this reading was more about, for me, not only to enter your day without expectations, because God has a bigger plan for you than you can ever plan for yourself, but that expectations are in these little details. Like me right here, I'm diamond painting. I didn't expect to come up with something that was going to make my life easier with something that I've done over and over and over again for the past year. Like, when I did this with the little towel to wet my hands, I'm like, duh, you've worked in the restaurant business for how long? And you were a secretary at one time. You always had your sort wick with you. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's like this little moist little piece of wax that you can wet your hands with. It makes things easier. So, I guess you never really, I think it's, you never really like, oh, this is a great trick. It's like, you're almost like rediscovering, you're remembering. We had that whole, that comes up a lot in Self-Care Sunday, remembering and forgetting. So you're just remembering what you forgot. So, the little details. We get up early, and, we expect to be at the office early, because if we leave early and we get ourselves together the night before, we can, get in our car. And as I was saying, you get into your car and there's some kind of roadblock, whether it's an accident or construction, or, you have to make a U-turn, or it's the lunch with friends you've been looking forward to, made plans for all week. And, once you get there and you get your little glass of Chardonnay, your cell phone goes off. It's the school, and your kiddo is sick, and you got to go. John and I booked an early flight to Florida, expecting to be there because we were so eager to get out of Philly, for one thing, but also to be with his family. It had been a while since he was able to spend some time with his cousin, and, again, make plans, and God laughs, because they had sent us all over the airport, and it was like another 8 hours. It's always going to be something that may come up. And when I think of my time in New York City during 9/11, the community meetings I attended, the stories that I heard, most of them starting out with, thank God the road was blocked that morning. Thank God my kid was sick and I had to get them. Thank God my meeting was canceled. At that time, I lived in Battery Park City, but I also had a restaurant here in Philadelphia, so I was traveling back and forth, and the World Trade Center was 2 blocks from my apartment, and thank God I was not there, because I looked out my apartment window and I saw the World Trade Center. It was a beautiful view, and I just don't know, and I don't know, and I can only imagine, knowing myself. I'm always up early. I'm always in the living room. I was always looking out the window. In fact, we never had the blinds down. I was always typing or doing some kind of artwork, and I just cannot imagine that scene. And so again, thank God I wasn't there. God shows up. And my cousin is a New York City firefighter, and his firehouse is right across from World Trade Center. His shift was over, and he was almost in Staten Island. And that's when, everything happened. So thank God that he wasn't there. But all these little pieces, all these little sutures, right, that I can thread together with this story. And it was actually when I was home, I had not even gotten to my restaurant yet. And one of my friends, Leslie, texted me while I was on the computer, and she said, it was like did we have AOL back then? Some people still do, I'm sorry, but it was like, you got mail, or I can't remember. It was some kind of special alert that came up on my computer screen. And she said, Elisa, where are you? And I said, oh, I'm in Philly. And she said, where's Mike, my ex-husband? And I said, oh, he had a meeting in New York, and he left last night so that he can be there early. And she's like, where is he? And I'm like, Leslie, what's the matter? Like, are you okay? And we had actually met, kind of like I met some of you, right here on social media. We met in a chat room. We both loved the Goo Goo Dolls, and we kind of met up a few times and went to concerts together. And it was like 3 of us that met, and we all lived in New York, and we met up, and we went to a few concerts together. And so it was her that was texting me, and I was like, Leslie, are you okay? Do you need help? And she said, Elisa, put on the TV, because I really didn't know if Mike had already been in the city or not. And so shout out to my girlfriends, Leslie and Kinzer. I mean, I would have found out eventually, but she was so, she said, call me. And I did. And she was just so calm, and she wasn't hysterical. And she just was like that was the person that I needed to talk to. And I think also, living in Battery Park City gave me the opportunity to meet people and be involved with the community, so much so that I signed up with FEMA to take a course in CERT and become a CERT member, which is a community emergency response team. And it's like a very intense 2-month program. And I loved it. And thankfully, we never had to use our training in New York City while I was there. But we did with Hurricane Katrina. And a lot of us went out to New Orleans, and I didn't. I was based here because of my responsibilities and business and all. But we did rescue and brought back to New York City a lot of the animals that were abandoned and rescued. And there's a lot of those little kitties and pups in Battery Park. There were at the time anyway. And I think also when I was reading the last paragraph, I want to go back to that. Actually, it's in the next to last paragraph. We can never be prepared for everything. No one person can anticipate all of life. Over preparation is another way to wall ourselves in, and not, it's always about the now, right? What time is it? The time is now. It's always about right now. Do it now. Don't wait. Rather, we can only prepare for how we might respond to the gift of surprise that often moves in on us faster than our reflex to resist. And I see this now with my girlfriends, children. They're getting married, they're making plans. Do they want to have a baby now? And they want to wait. And I don't think you're ever really prepared about when to have a child. Can make all the plans in the world, But I see this now with my husband, who is, getting ready for big life change. He is going to be retiring, and this is a really happy time. This is what he's worked his whole career for, and I see very little enjoyment coming from him. Every day he's like, oh well, another day down. Oh, today's Saturday, another week went by, another week off the calendar. And I'm like, John, you're like overly stressed about every little detail about this retirement, that you're missing so much of life right now. And I wish I could help him with this, but you know how it is, right? We don't listen to the ones closest to us. He'll go out and he'll figure it out. He'll spend time with his music, and he's looking to eat the world once he retires. He's got a big long list of all the things that he wants to do. Thank God. And I think I'm going to just leave you with the points that Mark makes in this reading. To center yourself and pray for the strength of spirit to be open to surprise, because we never really know what the next minute is going to bring. And we know, either by our own life or being by witness to someone else's life, how a life can just turn on a dime. As you exhale, try to relax your resistance to the unexpected. Yeah, that's usually the way that it goes, I think, naturally. Like, you might be resistant to something that's going on, but I think after we get done battling with ourselves, it is what it is. I can't stand that saying, but it is, You just have to exhale, let go of the resistance, and get on with it, so that you can begin to heal or get back to life, or be prepared for the element of surprise. As you inhale, try to make a passageway for everything larger than you. And what's larger than us? Trying to control everything? I think that's the big one. Just, I think sometimes we get into this place where we can't see the path. And, it comes back to, the first point. Center yourself and pray for the strength of spirit to be open to it. And then the last thing that Mark says here is to enter your day. And I think when you are prepared in that way, that you have this like in the front of your mind. I'm going to enter my day, and I'm going to be open to anything that might come my way, and not meet it with resistance, but to take a inhale, try and find the path, and exhale anything that is telling me, well, this is the way I used to do it. And I think that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I had these plans for 2024, and like whatever it is, it's just like not the plan that God has for me. And so I'm trying to move with resisting wanting to go back and say, no, this is what I have down. This is all this work that I did at the end of 2023. And, I put a lot of work here into this calendar, and I'm going to, and it's just like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'll keep breaking your teeth and your ankles if you try it. I'm glad I can laugh about this stuff. But I think I'm off the struggle bus here with the kidding up of this beautiful, oh my gosh, I can't wait for Monday's installment, and for you guys to see how beautiful the first section of this painting, The Kiss by Gustav Klimt, if you're not tuned in, is. It's just so, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And I am also what else am I doing? Oh, I kitted up Night's Rest because we're getting ready for Summer with the Masters. And that kit, oh boy, I can't wait to get my hands on that kit. That is just, oh gosh, so juicy and lovely. It's a lot of color blocking, but the color families, like there's a green gray that she's wearing in her dress, but there's 4 other green grays. There's like green gray medium, green gray light, green gray dark, and that's what makes, even though there's these huge chunks of color blocking, that's what makes it not get boring. It adds depth to the creases and the shading. It's just so beautiful. And I kind of know what's happening up ahead here. You'll probably hear my front door open, and I was ready. I have to tell you, I was ready for the element of surprise here, especially, reading this passage over and over and over again. Another name for God is surprise. It sure is, because I have a surprise that's getting ready. I'm getting ready to meet here, and God, it was in that surprise. I have a very loving, very caring, very attentive husband, and he puts me as a priority on his list all the time. He might drive me a little nuts with, he's been a little too much overbearing, but he'll say to me, Elisa, I love you. I want to make sure that you're okay. I want to make sure that you're comfortable. I want to make sure that, whatever you want and I can do it for you, I'll do it. And it's just like, talk about a gift. Talk about feeling loved and appreciated, and every single day. So I think I am going to just let that unravel, because I think it's like coming up in the next few minutes, and I'm glad that I was ready for it, and I'm glad that I was able to respond the way that I did. And I actually did stop the video, so like this is coming to a close. I don't have all these containers to do yet, and I didn't speed it up. I just was like, oh gosh, he's interrupting what I'm doing. I didn't expect him to come home. He said he was coming home early, but I didn't expect him as early as he was. And I was trying to fit in my recording, but what a gift, because I was back to the struggle. I was back to the struggle. I almost can't witness it again. And the only thing that kept me going here, and honestly and truly, was the beautiful color palette that this is. It just is stunning with color, and I wasn't really even appreciating that in the baggie. Like when you look at that color in the baggie, and talk about perception and the way that you look at things, those colors, you could see the one that's on my desk. It's just so dull and drab, and then you put it in these little bead storage containers, and it's like, look at how gorgeous they are. And that orange that is in the top of the second column, and there's one underneath, it is like a neon orange, and I did use it in the first part of the diamond painting session. And you would think, oh my gosh, like what's that neon orange? And I think there's like 2 of them. But being that the first part was the first block, the very first block was so much confetti, but it was just moving along nicely, and that orange just pops in that corner along with the khaki greens, and I used the yellows, a lot of the browns, a lot of the old golds. It just is such a stunning block. And I did start the painting upside down, so I did start at the top of the painting. So I continued to diamond paint even after our session was over. And so I'm going into the third block, and it's already in the partial part of the painting. So it's the top of his head, that you can see the top of his face, but it's, you know, it's partial. So that's kind of interesting to work like that, to see like a raw edge of diamonds in that area of the face. And I think I'm doing a really good job trying to fill the space. So I believe my surprise is coming up. I hope there are a lot of surprises in store for you, and not only in store for you, that you're ready for, and whether they be good or bad, that you find the passageway of least resistance, and there it is, my honey. Love you.
Love you. Let me kiss my son. Here, Dad. There you go.
How cute is this one?
Wolfie, what are you doing there?
He's mad.
What's the matter?
You better hide that bread.
I kissed him.
Don't put it on the table.
Listen to me. Do not lick with your cat spit all over our fresh baguette bread from Park Rittenhouse. No cat spit on our bread. You have to wait till we eat, and then we'll give you some.
That's twice he got told no. All right, I'm getting back to this. Hello again. I was going to just wait for my husband to settle down and continue on. And it wasn't all him or his definition of I'm being quiet. It was me too. I was struggling with those baggies, and I think I had tortured you enough with trying to opening them and let you bear witness to it. So let me show you. This is the final kit. Here we go. And I have to tell you, is this palette gorgeous? And I put it in rainbow. Looking at all these special drills in here, they're just so pretty. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that hot pink. And then this one. And then here's some of the purple. Oh, just so pretty. Little daisies, little carnations that are going to go into this kit. It was just so pretty, and so much, you know, I don't know what I was thinking, that I wasn't going to give this kit the honor of being all kitted up this way. It took me 2 hours to do, over 2 hours to do a segment for our first segment for Gustav Klimt. Now I trimmed it down a lot, but most of it was the struggle of just opening the baggies and then trying to put the drills back in the baggies. It was a mess. And so that concludes Self-Care Sunday. And on Monday, you'll be getting a look at that painting as we diamond paint and go into our second installment of the life of Gustav Klimt and this painting. So wait till you see it. It's stunning, the section that I did. So I will see you on Monday. Bye, my loves. Enjoy the rest of this Sunday fun day. Create the world that you want to live in. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.